So lots of excitement, rousing applause for CAF President South Africa's Patrice Motsepe. So despite reaching the quarterfinals of the last edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, Bafana Bafana won't be participating in the 2021 tournament in Cameroon. It comes as another disappointment as the national team will also miss out on this year's World Cup, even though it came under controversial circumstances. Joining me now is former Bafana Bafana midfielder Reneilwe Yeye Letsholonyane. A very good afternoon and welcome to Newzroom Afrika.
Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you?
Fantastic, yeah. Thanks so much for chatting to us. So I suppose when we watch the visuals of the opening ceremony, it just reminds so many South African football fans, why are Bafana Bafana not there?
Yeah, unfortunately or fortunately, we know why we are not there. But yeah, the opening ceremony brings back those memories, that situation, obviously, that led to Bafana Bafana not being part of this biggest showpiece in Africa. And yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
Is it because South Africa just don't have the players, just don't have the team, just don't have the know-how to be among the 24 best teams on the continent at the African showpiece?
Look, we have whatever that it takes to be competing in every Africa Cup of Nations whenever that is playing. But obviously with the situation now, a situation about the game against Ghana happened. But besides that, I think with the facilities, with the players that we have, with the type of football loving people that we have in the country, I think we can do better. We should prepare properly. We should do things properly, and these things don't happen by accident. You don't qualify in such tournaments by accident. You need to prepare, and changing coaches every 6 months or whatever doesn't help the cause. So I think it should be a lesson again for all of us or the people that are involved in football in this country to make better decisions for the betterment of our football.
So is the answer then not firing a coach and keeping the likes of Hugo Broos for a number of years and allowing him to implement his blueprint and then letting the team actually, what would you say is the time frame that a coach actually needs with the national team? Because, I mean, we still going to ask these questions as to why we don't qualify for major competitions.
Look, it's difficult to say how long should a coach be coaching, whether a team or a national team. But for me, I can say at least between a year and 2 years. Give the coach that time so that he can do things his way, and then after the 2 years, maybe you can now start charging him on other things, whether the results, whether the how the national team is playing, or whatever that you want to judge them based on. But as I said, for me, between a year and 2 years, allow the coach, allow the technical team, allow the players that have been called into the national team for most of those games that have been played in that 2 years, to know each other, to understand each other, to understand what the coach wants and the technical team.
Yeah, are our best players that come from South Africa playing for Bafana Bafana?
Yeah, that one is a bit difficult to say, but personally, I feel there's obviously players that have played well, but were not part of the national team because of whatever reason that the coach thinks. So I will not.
It seems as if Reneilwe Letsholonyane is having a little bit of technical trouble. We'll try and reconnect with him. Yeye, are you able to hear us? Okay, it does seem as if those technical, that trouble with the connection from Reneilwe Letsholonyane has just put paid to that conversation. We'll see whether we can return to it. I understand that we are able to hear one another once again. Yeye, you were busy explaining about the South African players and whether we are actually seeing the country's best playing for our national senior men's team.
Yeah, as I was saying, I feel personally, and I feel there's certain players that performed well prior to the national team selecting, or the national team coach selecting the players that will represent the country, but they were never part of the national team. Obviously, the coach has his reasons for doing that, or for not choosing them. But yeah, like I said, I feel there's players that were supposed or deserved during those games because of their performance for their teams. So yeah, that's how it is.
Let's look ahead now to the actual tournament. Have you thought about who your favorites are and who you think will go through to the final come the 6th of February?
That's a bit tricky, but I think Egypt is one of the teams that will definitely qualify for the knockouts. I think Zimbabwe have the capabilities of qualifying to the knockouts and even go further. I think Tunisia and Cameroon as well have that capacity of players to do well in the tournament.
Lovely stuff, Reneilwe Letsholonyane. Thank you so much for chatting to us. And we also hope for better things in the future from our national team. If you could suggest to the coach and just whisper into his ear those players that you feel he may not be keeping a close eye on that he should, who would it be?
It's players that obviously everyone can see that they've been doing well. I think for me, Andy Lejali and then Temba Zwane have been doing well for their team, and when the national team coach chooses players, he says he chooses players that are doing well for their teams. So I think it shouldn't be because maybe they are older that they are not chosen. So I think because of their performance, the coach should just look at them and give them an opportunity to represent the country.
Former Bafana Bafana midfielder and former Kaizer Chiefs player Reneilwe Yeye Letsholonyane. Thank you so much for chatting to us here on Newzroom Afrika.